Hi, everybody. This is Carolina Millan, and welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Hustle. And today I am with a woman hustler, my dear friend Erika Cramer, the queen of confidence. How are you, Erika?
I am so happy finally to be here. Woohoo!
I'm excited to have you here. How's everything down under in Australia?
Literally, that's where we are. We're down under. So, as you can probably hear the accent, I'm originally from Boston, but I've been in Australia for like 10 years. And we are currently in Melbourne, which is the only state out of the 5 that is back into lockdown. So,
No.
yeah, we're the naughty state. We've done something wrong. So I'm happy in my home, we do all the good things in lockdown. So yeah, crazy times.
Crazy times, I know. We're still in lockdown over here as well. It's for the best for now to protect people who are most vulnerable in this situation. And well, I hope you guys can get out of lockdown soon too.
Yes. Maybe we'll create more online courses in lockdown. That's what happened last time.
What else are we gonna do, right?
I know.
So Erika and I have known each other just I don't know, a few months, beginning of this year. I don't remember exactly when we got in touch, but we really hit it off. She's an amazing lady, and I wanted her to come here on the podcast to share, first of all, her story. She has like a really impressive number of achievements in a very short period of time, at least in the online space. So it's very interesting. And to provide some tips for all the people here listening who, if you are struggling right now with your self-confidence, if you're struggling right now with your relationship with money, with your online business, we're going to be giving you some really cool tips. So first of all, my dear, if you could share a little bit about your story. What were you doing before you became the Queen of Confidence, and how this all came to be?
Yes. Okay. So as mentioned, I'm originally from Boston. I came to Australia to escape my past, quite literally. I thought it wasn't going to follow me across the ocean. I grew up in a really turbulent household. My mom was bipolar. I grew up in and out of foster homes while she was in and out of mental hospitals, and was kidnapped by my dad, had sexual abuse, broke my back. My husband passed away. I know there was just like this. Yeah, I mean, there's lots that happened in my past. And, I think as you try not to deal with your stuff, and you try to go, I don't have time for that right now. And you just push it down and put on the mask. I put on the whole outfit, zip yourself in, and you're like, all right, I'm happy. I'm going to pretend nothing's wrong. And I met a guy in Las Vegas, and I moved to Australia. And I didn't know this at the time, but I was trying to just delete whatever had happened and not deal with it, because I didn't think I could, air quotes, deal with it, So I came to Australia. I was in really terrible relationships because basically I didn't value myself. I didn't think I was worthy. And I would attract partners to prove to me how I already felt about myself, which was very important, that it was, like we attract these people into our world. So after a few really missed relationships, I moved from Sydney to Melbourne, met finally my husband, who was my personal trainer, and he was really lovely. And he had been doing a lot of work on himself. So he was a guy, but he had this soft, like beautiful, nurturing energy, but still a man's man, but then had this gentle side where I never met anybody like that. And so he told me about a life coach and clairvoyant and spirituality and all this stuff that I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I started seeing someone, started seeing a coach, and started working on myself. And then it just took me down this rabbit hole, as you know, of the personal development world. And I was a hairdresser initially a long time ago in America. So I always loved to help women look nicer. Like I wanted women to feel beautiful, and when you feel good, you do good things, right? That's what my mind was saying to me. And when I moved to Australia, I decided to become a stylist. So I wanted to teach women about dressing. So it went from the hair to the clothes, to looking better and feeling better. And I created these like a side hustle workshops where I was helping women to style and dress confidently. And then after a while, I started seeing that it didn't really matter what kind of clothing the women had on or what they were wearing, or like they would still look in the mirror and be like, I'm not good enough. So I was like, there has to be something deeper. And because I was in my personal development journey and I was understanding my thoughts and my beliefs and my patterns and subconscious, I kind of was weaving that into styling. So it was really like this coaching and styling kind of situation. And finally, when my second son was born, I was like, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to do full-on coaching. And I created confidence coaching, which is called the Queen of Confidence. And basically it's about how every woman, I believe, is the Queen of Confidence. Like she's royalty. Every woman is the top of the top. It's just that we forgot that we are the shit. And so this, I guess the brand and the business is really about helping women own who they are and remember their brilliance and let go of self-doubt, let go of people pleasing and caring so much about what people think about us, so that we could step into what we really deeply want and desire.
That's a beautiful message. I love it. So you started as a stylist, and then so helping women feel good from the outside in.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It was like, let's cull the wardrobe. And now I'm like, let's cull the thoughts. Like, what are those thoughts that don't work for you anymore? Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I absolutely do. And so when you started this movement, did you start doing this like offline, or when was like the online part of your business when did that part become more relevant?
Yes. So I definitely started in person. And I jokingly say like I'm an in-person kind of person, but I love, I love people and humans and especially being with women. And there's something different about in-person energy, right? And, you know, we're talking about this during a pandemic where we literally can't go to our friend's house and be next to each other anymore. So it's very interesting to be that kind of person and be in this situation. So I initially created, like my styling, I took the same, I guess, model, you know, if you want to call it that. I shopped with women one-on-one, and then I realized shopping with women one-on-one that every woman felt like this. So then I started doing events in groups. So buy a ticket, everybody sit in one room and we talk about it to everyone instead of one-on-one. And with my coaching, I created the same thing. I was like, I can one-on-one coach you, and you can come to my office and tell me about your problems that you think you're the only one that has. And then I started realizing it wasn't even a time for money, because, you know, a lot of coaches are like, you don't want to trade time for money. I wasn't even that strategic, to be honest. It was really like, oh my God, Carolina's in my office and she's crying about this thing with her mom or her brother or her sister or her coworker. And if Mary was in my office, she would resonate with what Carolina said, because they're the same. Like, it's like every single one of us experiences the same things. And so I thought, if this woman is suffering in silence by herself, if others could hear her, if she was open to others hearing her and validating and holding space for her, she would feel more felt and seen and heard, and they would feel more connected. And so I was like, group. So then after the one-on-one coaching, I decided, which I didn't know, Carolina, actually, to create a mastermind in person. I didn't know what the hell a mastermind was. It was a group coaching mastermind for a smidget of the price. Okay. Like, I did not price it, still not priced what it could be. And I just said, I'm going to do this year-long coaching program with women all over Melbourne, in person, 6 live events a year. And I just created that. And in our first launch, we got like 25 women joined straight away, because I was talking about it on Instagram. Yeah. And it was in person. And then the following maybe 3 or 4 months later, I did the online version. So it went from in person to then digital.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And right now you're focusing mostly on the Australian markets.
Well, we have now women in 15 countries in our program now.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it did definitely start Australia, but I feel like those of you listening, if you have an Instagram or a podcast, you're global.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
The minute you do that, you're global. So you never know who's watching you from Finland or Estonia or Africa, and you go, what? Someone's listening to my podcast in Africa? Like, what? That's amazing. But it's true, you know? So I think when we did the in-person, I always shared on Instagram and talked to the community that I was building. So they were like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. So they kind of said to me, can you create this for us as well? And I thought, why not? Why can't we? Yeah. So yeah, we did the online. And so now the online is global. It's everyone. I market literally our ads and our conversations and our discussions are global. And then for the Australian Melbourne crew, we've got 86 women in our Melbourne program. And right now we are in lockdown, and our event that we had this year was February. So we haven't had a live event. We're meant to have 6, okay? I've got 5 to go, and it's July. So if next month they open, we're going to have an event a month, and it wasn't the initial schedule, but so that concerns me. That's hard because I feel for the women in Melbourne because we can't have a live event. So we've been doing different things to connect, and it's been incredible to see the community thriving in such a difficult time, mental health wise, because that's what I do. You know, mental health it's hard. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what are some of the limiting beliefs that, you know, either, you know, mostly women listening, but if there are men listening, maybe they have some of the same limiting beliefs that you think are what's stopping people from having more confidence?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you're right, Carolina? It's men and women and it's humans, right? There's a human thing, but there is some research that a woman's brain and a woman's narrative and how women get raised and taught and what they learn is totally different to men. So there is this thing that we as women have that is really, a lot of women tell me that they get told to be the good girl. They should be nice. I try not to tell my kids to be nice. I'm like, be kind. Don't fucking be nice. No one wants you to be nice. Okay.
Be kind.
Be kind. Like, what's nice? You know, be nice. It's like, a lot of women say like, be seen and not heard. Like you should be pretty. You shouldn't be speaking up. I know, right? In the Latin culture, it's like, you got to cook, you got to clean.
It's awful.
You got to feed your man. Yeah. You know, it's very like, it's very old school. And I laugh at our culture because I'm a Latina too, but I laugh at our culture. My husband's Sri Lankan, the same thing. You know, they want to feed the men, but we all want to have an iPhone 11. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So we have the technology and we want to have a new phone and a new house and a new car and a Bluetooth and all that stuff. But we want to have the same cultural old ways. It's ridiculous. So I think a lot of women have been programmed really in their life. So what I see a lot of is, I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not important. What I have to say doesn't matter. Someone's already done it. Why would I do a podcast? There's already 50 million podcasts. Comparing themselves to others. They're not pretty enough, thin enough, smart enough, all of the enoughness. And really, I think the underlying belief, and Oprah talks about it, is that we all feel like we're not enough. And if we're not enough, we won't be loved. And if we're not loved, we'll be alone. So we have this fear of being taken out of our communities. It's like our brain tribal, you know, that flight or fright brain tribal thing that's like, if no one likes me, I'll be alone.
I remember probably one of the first Tony Robbins seminars that I went to, that was one of the first things we talked about, the belief that I'm not enough. And how do you help women? Like, what's your advice for women who grew up thinking they were not enough, who grew up feeling inferior to men? Because in many cultures, especially in South America, that's how they are raised. What's your advice to turn that around?
Thought that you suffer, a thought that doesn't serve you. I say a thought that fucks with you. When you get a thought that fucks with you and you're like, oh, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, or I'm a horrible mother, or I'll never have enough money. You know, it feels bad, this thought. And when you get it, she asks you to inquire and do the 4 questions. Instead of us believing what we think, which is what happens to us, we believe the bullshit that's in our head. Then we feel a certain way because of that thought. Then we take an action, or we don't take action based off of that feeling. And then we get a result. And then we go, see, I told you I'm shit. I'll never have enough money. I'm not smart enough. I had all those beliefs about, I was a ghetto girl, Puerto Rican girl from Boston who lived on food stamps. And, you know, we got food donations. We didn't have any money. You know, I grew up with all the negative money beliefs. And so I would always say, I'm not smart enough. I don't know numbers. You know, I don't understand that. And so saying that and believing that, so you can say this, but when you believe it, it makes you feel a way, and then you will not take an action, or you'll take a reaction, or you'll do something that causes you to prove to yourself that, see, I told you, I'm just not smart enough. I'm not, you know, I don't understand money, or whatever that is. So that's probably the first thing I would recommend, that know who you are. Who are you being? You know, I'm being shy. I'm being a victim. You know, I'm being a self-sabotager. Great. Now you know what you're doing. then the second one is start paying attention to your thoughts and writing them down, journaling. Like, you don't have to be like, dear diary. Like, that's not what I mean. Guys, women, you could just start writing. And then this book will help you to like unpack what you're thinking instead of just passively believing it,
Yeah, that's powerful. That's because we do it all the time and we keep reinforcing the negative beliefs. And it's funny because those get reinforced much easier than the positive ones. Like for a positive belief, you need so much proof.
Yeah.
To finally be like, okay, I don't suck that much. But for a negative one, a little thing happens and you're like, see, I told you.
And you know why too? It's like you said like we were talking before, it's like your childhood. So we forget about our childhood. We forget about all that shit that we went through. We don't think we have trauma. I talk to women all the time and they're like, you've this and you've got that and you've got this. I don't have any of that. And I'm like, if you got made fun of because you had a pimple and you were 5, or not 5, 15, who has pimples at 5, right?
Nobody, I hope.
I don't know. Maybe you do, but if you do, that's even more traumatic, right? So at 15, you had acne and someone made fun of you. That's a trauma. When you were 6 years old, your parents divorced. Trauma. Your mom said something to you when you were 7 and it really hit you. Trauma. So all of these things in our childhood, how our parents raise us, how people treat us as a child, it fully traumatizes you in many different ways. And then you grow up and you forget. And then people trigger what was already triggered in you as a child, or you allow that to trigger you, really. You go, oh, this person triggered me. But it's your shit from the past that you didn't even know you had. So they're showing you what you have. They're showing you where you need to do the work. But we're too busy, air quotes, so we don't do the work. We don't do shit. And we live around our lives trying to find happiness and make money and da-da-da-da. And then we're like, we're not happy. So I believe that it just reactivates what we've already experienced as a child. And we are a bunch of children walking around, not dealing with our shit, not dealing with our mommy and daddy and validation seeking issues. And then we go, see, I made $1 million. Are you proud of me now? And no one cares because no one's watching you to go, tick, I'm proud. But you think you need to be this person out in the world so that your family finally approves, or so that guy finally thinks you're pretty enough, or whatever. So it's really important that we understand that our childhood, how we were raised, how we were conditioned, what we learned is so extremely impactful for how we grow up as grown-ups. And if we don't deal with that stuff, it will deal with us in our lives. It'll keep showing up.
Do you feel like you have, because you shared, a lot of things you went through as a child and teenager. Do you feel you've dealt with all of those things from your past? Are you still working on it?
I will never be done, right? We'll never be done.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, in regards to confidence, in regards to letting go of the opinion of others, I can tell you that for me is like, I can tick it off and just go, there are no fucks given, in a good way, not in a way of like, I don't care about people, but I really don't allow, I guess, the opinion of what other people think about me to stop me. So you'll still care. We all care what people think, especially the people we love, but will it stop you from taking the action that you want to take? So I've dealt with, $110,000 later, my husband and I both have spent so much money. And money, like we got credit cards, we've refinanced our home loan. Like, it was a hot mess. We didn't have any money that we invested in at the time, but I know that we needed to. And so because we did all of that work and we purged so much, we genuinely have the most incredible, we both did it, my husband and I, we have the most incredible relationship. We can build money in our businesses. And so that money that we invested in ourselves came back 50 million times around and we'll keep coming back because we've moved the barriers and we've shifted beliefs so that we are the kind of people now that can make money, and we are the kind of people now that can have what we want, as opposed to having the shitty beliefs holding us down. So a lot of it has been cleared. I still find myself going to the next level and shitting my pants and being like, oh my God, I'm so scared, Alicia. And I just feel like it's normal. Like, you should be scared. You've never done that. Like, oh God. But I don't go, oh, I'm not confident now. I try not to word it that way. I word it like, I'm just going to the next level. So of course I'm scared. I haven't been there yet. And once you get there, you're like, oh, this wasn't so bad,
Usually that's what happens. We have this this expectation that things are going to be really hard, really difficult, and then you get there and it's like, okay, I don't know what all the fuss was about.
Yeah. I'm okay. I didn't die.
I didn't die. That's right. What's your advice for women who struggle with their relationship with money, which again is also a topic in well, I think in the whole world, really, not just in South America, but how do you remove or at least help somehow cope with that kind of belief?
Yeah, it's such a big topic. And I think, again, that we talked earlier, women do have a different understanding than men do. And we are,
yes.
And this is generalizing, right? But mainly women will go, if I make too much money, my friends won't like me. If I make too much money, I won't be a good mother. If I make too much money, I'm not relevant. I'm bragging. You know, we have all these negative connotations, and men are programmed to become the providers. Then that's all they do. If a man doesn't make money, it's like, I'm not a man, I'm a piece of shit. So they don't even go, should I make more money? They go, I need to make money. So they have this different drive that it's not a masculine, oh, I want to take everybody's money. It's literally like, if I don't make money, I'm not a man. I'm not the man of the house. And we're talking very female, male, not, you know, very, very baseline here. But it's like the generalized statement that men compete with each other and go, oh, mate, what are you doing? Let me see. Oh, I made this much money. Where are you at? Ha, ha, ha. Where women, it's like, I can't believe she's got a Gucci bag and blah, blah, blah. So it feels like we're more catty and we're more judgmental to ourselves versus men seeing money as I have to. It's a must. So they just do it. And so I think because of that difference and because of all the self-doubt we have, we don't go for the pay rise. They do. They're not qualified, right? But they go for the pay rise and they get it because we don't go for it. So I really feel like the number one thing that we need to do as women is understand our limiting beliefs around money and really start to look at them. And you can start asking yourself questions like, money means what to me? You know, I don't have money because, or I have the money I have because. You know, like, what does money mean? And start writing these questions down and understanding your understanding about money. What did you get taught as a child about money? What's your first memory about money as a kid? You know, is it that we can't go to Disney because we can't afford it? Like, when we say that stuff to our children, it does affect, like, no, we can't afford that. Like, what's we? Like, people like us, like Latins can't afford. What does that mean, right? So there's all this stuff. And remember when I said to you that I grew up in Boston and Framingham, you know, on food stamps, and they would get declined. So we didn't have money. We had food stamps, and even the food stamps would get declined. We didn't have a car. We took the bus. You know, we were poor, right? Like, my mom didn't have any money. And we lived in the hood. It was just crazy. And so I barely graduated high school, and then I joined the army. So I didn't even go to college or anything. So I really avoided money or dollars or numbers like the plague. Like, I fully avoided it. So when it came to me moving in and meeting my husband and him being an accountant's son and knowing money, he knew money. I knew how to spend money and I knew how to get credit cards, but I never knew how to save. I never knew how to pay things down. I didn't have a good relationship with money. And so Hamish would teach me, my husband, about certain books, and I would read books. And then I was like, this is boring. And I realized, oh shit, I need to really get comfortable with this. So I would call myself, and I did a podcast about this called Stop Being the Cute Dumb Girl. Like, I was like, I just don't know about money. I don't know, you know. And I was just like, I'm so cute and I just don't know. Ha 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 ha. It's like, listen, ladies, don't fucking do that, because that sucks, right? Like, you're making yourself dumb. You're not getting used to it because it's uncomfortable. So you're going to always be dumb with money. Like, don't do that stuff, right? So that was first. And then the second part, I think, for me was understanding that money is energy. So even if you're listening and you don't have a business, you want to have a business, you want a side hustle, but you work 9 to 5 for a corporation. How do you get a pay rise? You need to provide value. So how can you add value to your boss? How can you add value to your job or to the role that you're doing? Or how can you create your own role? You can only do this. You're right. You can only do this when you know what the boss needs, what the company needs. When you step into the shoes of the leader and you go, these are the holes, and you come to them with, listen, I know that this is the problem. Here's my solution. I want you to pay me this. you will get that pay rise like every time, because money is an energy exchange. You provide more value, they exchange the energy for money. And so for me, every time now that I make money, I go, I'm providing a fuckload of value, and whoever provides the most value will make the most money. Electricity, hello, big value, right? They charge you so much money for electricity, petrol, gasoline. They charge you so much money because we value it so much. We can live without it, but we won't. And they know that. So it's like the value proposition there is off the chain. So I think really getting to know how much value you provide to the client or to your boss or to whoever it is, so that then you can start charging more. And now when I make money, I'm like, more money equals more impact. It's not more money, more problems.
No.
Yeah.
Not necessarily problems. It may come with challenges or whatever.
Definitely.
But it's the more money, more problems. Or, if somebody's making money, they probably stole it or they did something shady. That's why they have money. Like they're really
dodgy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
those are the beliefs.
Those are the beliefs, especially in South America. It's pretty bad. They look at you like, oh, you're the elite or something, just because you're doing better than average. So it's tough because you have to, why would you have to feel bad about your accomplishments, or the fact that you're helping people?
That's what it is, though. We have this, like we said in the beginning, right? We have this human brain that is tribe. We want to fit in. And so God forbid, if you make money, you become different. So that back to the thing, it's so weird that you said in the beginning, it's like, I'm not good enough. No one will love me. I'll be alone. So if I make a lot of money, I'm not like them anymore. They will take me out of the crew and I'll have all this money and I'll be alone. And that's bullshit, right? It's not true. And everything that people believe about money, it's their stuff. So if you make money and you roll up in a nice car, or you roll up and you pay the bill for your friends or whatever it is, they go, oh, who do you think you are? You got money now? That's their stuff. Like, people that have money are greedy. That's what they think. So it's like you really start questioning all of these thoughts. And it's interesting when you start to know yourself on that level, because you go, I didn't know I thought that stuff. And it's yucky, but it's worth doing that work.
Absolutely. It's worth doing it because, in the end, I think for me, one of the major shifts I had with my relationship with money was realizing that if I wanted to do something for people who were more vulnerable or who had a disadvantage or who were poorer than me, was to not be one of them. Like, you want to help those people, don't be one of them. Because if you lower yourself to that level, then you're not even going to be able to help them rise up. Right?
Exactly. They're like, what do they say? You can't be sick enough to help the sick. Like, you got to be well. You got to be well to help the sick. You can't be sick too.
Yeah, totally. So what are some of the strategies that you have used so far to grow your audience? You have a pretty large audience you've been able to build. Has it all been organic? You've done some paid ads. What are some of the things that are working for you right now that the people listening could start applying themselves to if they want to grow their online business and audience?
Yes. Well, I think one of the biggest things, I'm really big on Instagram and I'm big on community. And so I think that for me, my superpower, right? The superpower that I feel like I have, and I didn't know this, it was all I had at the time, right? We started this business when I had my second child. We had no money. So my job, 9-to-5 job, I was on maternity leave and I was a contractor. So they weren't paying me while I was on leave. I was like, your contract's finished, go have a baby. My husband owned a gym, and his gym during Christmas, as you can imagine, is very slow. People are drinking and eating and partying. They come back in January feeling bad. Yeah. So second baby, we bought an SUV. We moved out of my husband's parents' house. We were with them for a little while thinking we were going to save for a house, air quotes, supposedly. And now we find ourselves with no money. I'd never been in Australia. I'd never been at this level of poorness, right? And my husband never experienced it because he wasn't from America. And we were trying to find coins to buy bread.
Ooh.
Like we didn't have money at all. It was a horrible, horrible time. And so I was at the point of no return, rock bottom, I guess. Mm. And for me, I think when you hit rock bottom, most of us, that's when we wake up. when you have the cancer, when you break your back, when you're a parent, something happens to your child, it's like, psh, oh shit, oh my God, what are we doing? But I'm like, why do we need to wait to get to that point? So hopefully this story will inspire you listening to not wait till you get to the edge of the cliff, right? So we're on the edge of the cliff, we're crying, we're like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I said to my husband, I really want to be a life coach. I don't want to do styling anymore. And he's like, are you on drugs? Like, we literally have no money. Now you want to go be a life coach. Like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm not going back to work. I'm going to do this. So what happened was I had no other choice but to start being real. And I listened to Mr. Gary Vee, who I know you love as well.
Yeah.
And I was breastfeeding my child, watching 8 hours a day. Mothers out there listening, you feel me. You sit there breastfeeding all goddamn day. What are you doing? My toddler's running around. My husband's gone. And I'm watching Gary Vee videos. And he's telling me, get your face out there. Document. YouTube. Get a podcast. Do this. Just get it out there. Who gives a fuck? And I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I am going to start being, I wasn't very raw and real. I was still trying to be very politically correct in my styling business.
Yeah.
And so that was the moment I said, I'm not going to do styling. I'm going to get on my Facebook. I'm going to tell my whole community that I'm not doing styling anymore. It was my first real and raw moment on the internet, I feel. I was just like, I hate it. I don't want to do it, you guys. Everybody who's bought a ticket to this event, I'm going to refund you. I'm going to be a confidence coach. I don't even know if you want to come to a confidence workshop, but I'm going to do that. And I don't want to talk about cotton and horizontal stripes and fucking anything else that has to do with fabric, or the fact that you're an apple or a banana. You know, I was like, I don't care what body shape you are. We're doing this. And I was shitting myself, Caroline. I was so scared. And I'm like, I did it, push it, post it, go. And it went off. People were like, yes, I want to have a confidence event. I sold so many tickets to this event. And it really was feedback of like, oh, women want the realness. They want to see that I'm a hot mess with my baby and I don't know what I'm doing. So I started sharing. And my tip for everybody is let people in. Share authentically your life. Don't try to make it pretty and perfect and say the right thing and have the right, makeup and have this. And it's a perfect moment. It was like, I'm going to take you on the journey of my becoming. I don't know what the hell I'm going to become. This is what I want to do. Who knows? Buckle up. Let's go. And so every day I would show up on Instagram. I would show up I produced a podcast in my car with my Apple headphones, with my toll tag going off because I didn't have money to pay my tolls. And it was like, beep, 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 beep. Every time I'd be driving, it was so raw that I was like, I'm here to serve. I'm not trying to get it right. I'm just trying to get it, and here I am. So I feel like what happened was people felt like me, like they saw me, they understood me. They said, oh, me too, me too, me too. So it became this community that I started building. And I would show up every morning and every night and every day on Instagram and share, and YouTube and share. I did a vlog on YouTube at the time, building this business. And I send all my clients there that are mothers. They're like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, go watch my fucking videos of 30 days of me documenting how horrible. I mean, it was horrible and difficult. I was really overweight and I just was exhausted. But I documented it because I know other people, when I blow up and become Oprah, people will go back and watch that and go, oh shit, that's her beginning. Like that's the beginning of this business. And so it was building community. So if you're out there and you're like, I have 5 followers, cool. Do you say good morning to your 5 followers? Do you acknowledge the eyeballs? There's 1 person or 1 million. There are eyeballs on the other side of that screen. And you don't even fucking say good morning to them. You can't even be bothered to say, hey, good night. Hey, how are you? How was your day? Like, connect with the audience. They are humans, and social media is about connecting and then asking them and polling them and Q&A with them. And I respond to everyone, Carolina, I'm always on my phone and I enjoy it. I love talking to these people. These are the people that listen to my podcast. They support my work. They buy things. They come to my events. So if you have no audience, start there. And then if you do kind of already have an audience, I would say ads. So I love using Facebook and Instagram ads in order to get people to my event, in order to get people a freebie thing. I haven't used an ad for a freebie yet, but getting them to a masterclass online, just drawing traffic to my Instagram. I play around in India. I'll do ads in Africa. I'll do ads in UK, and just like promoting a post that I think they would like, not for them to buy anything, just to see if they resonate. Right. And that's really been helpful because now I know my audience. I know who I'm talking to. I know what they're interested in. And I think what you can do that's free is any content on the internet, whether it's IGTV, YouTube, podcast, Facebook. If you're on TikTok and you like that, I don't do it, but if you're on TikTok, like all of these mediums that are free can build your community if you're willing to talk back to people.
Beautiful. Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with what you said. Like for me, it's a bit similar in the way that when people come to me, they're like, I come to you because you seem authentic and real. And people, I mean, there are still people out there who produce these videos where they rent a mansion or they rent like an expensive car for a day to make. And yeah, some people like that, but I don't want to attract those people. I want to attract the people who are looking for realness. Yeah. Not the people who are looking for just money and material stuff, because I'm not into that. I know. So, yeah, I love that. So what is next for you? What are you going to be focusing on the rest of the year? I know you have a bunch of events you have to do, but besides the events, what else are you working on right now? So hopefully the events will happen at some point in 2020. if they let you do an event with more than 3 people, because maybe it'll be okay. Just 5 people. Yeah, 5 people. Like we'll just do 20 events in the week. So for me right now, what's coming up is my book. So I'm writing my book about my practice of confidence, because I really believe that confidence is a practice. It's not some, it's not a final destination. It's a dance. You are doing it, then you're great. And then it's a work in progress forever. You're never like, okay, I'm confident, I'm done. And it's like yoga or meditation, you're not in like, I'm meditation right now. No, you're always meditating. You're trying to get there. You're practicing and exercising and doing it. So it's about the practice of confidence. So that should be out and printed and ready to go in November, which is so exciting. Exciting. Am I gonna get a copy? Yes. Are you kidding me? You're gonna get a signed copy. Copy. Te lo voy a mandar. I'm gonna send it you. South American signed copy. So that's coming out in November, and then we have our online sisterhood, which is a year-long coaching experience. It's live. It's in real time. It's very active. It's 6 modules throughout a year with our community online, and we do lots of coaching. I do lots of coaching in there, especially during COVID. It's been pretty hectic. So that's happening, the sisterhood. And then we've got 2 retreats coming up. So one is in Melbourne at the end of the year. So hopefully we'll be able to have that retreat. And then the other one is in Bali in January 2021. Yeah, so Bali's coming up. And I've just launched a small group business mastermind, because after 2 years, this is our second year this year. And I was like, I really want to take on coaches or women stylists, people that want to do what I'm doing, and just show them what we did, because we didn't do any magical stuff. It was hard work, but there were certain things that we did and certain steps that we took. And so we've just taken on 6 women, and we're going to take them on a 9-month kind of mastermind business coaching journey. And that's my first time doing that. So I'm really excited about that. Awesome. Yeah. Yes. Love it. Absolutely love it. You're the best. I love you. So my dear, don't want to take much more of your time, but what would be your word of advice for women, particularly who are struggling right now, whether it's because of COVID or any other circumstances in their lives? What's your advice for them to be able to bounce back and find themselves again? So I really think that in this time, we should not rush anything. I think that whatever you believe in, God, universe, atheist, whatever it is you believe in, there's something going on greater than us right now. Clearly, you could be a conspiracy theorist like me and think all the things, or you could follow the rules and be all about the government. It doesn't matter where your mind's at around that. The reality is, this is happening around the world. The reality is, it's calling for us to go inside, not only in our homes, but go inside of ourselves and, ask ourselves the big questions. Am I happy? Do I want to do this? Is this where I want to be working, living, feeling, breathing, acting? If I could change something, what could I change? Do I need to learn something else? What kind of person do I want to be when I come out of this shit? Like,
this is the questions that we should be asking. We're not allowed now to pretend that it doesn't exist. We're being faced with the mirror, like you, and you have to ask yourself these questions, because you have an opportunity right now to decide who you want to be and what you want to start doing and letting go of. So a lot of women I'm speaking to are like, I don't know who I am. I don't know my purpose. All this what's the word called? Uncertainty is happening, you know? And if you're someone like that loves certainty, you love knowing, you're AKA a control freak, right? And you love knowing what's happening and when, you're really going to struggle right now. And those of you that are struggling, what I could say to you is, what good could be coming from this? You know, if this is the reality, what can you come out of it with? You know, what do you need to look more in? I suck at slowing down. This is making me have to slow down. Although I'm trying to find new things to do, I need to sit on my ass and meditate. I need to breathe. I need to go out and have a nature walk. And there are things I wouldn't normally do because I'd be at events on a plane, traveling around Australia, doing events. And it's like, well, you can't do that. So what can you do? So maybe ask yourself, what can I do? I know what I can't do, but what can I do? What's going to serve me most right now? Taking a nap, having a sleep, hanging out with my kids, and being in this moment, because tomorrow could be gone. And today you have this. So just whatever your intention and you thought what your life was going to be about, this is what it's about now. So don't fight it. And maybe just look at where you can go inside and see what your inner you wants to try to say. And in order to hear her, you have to get quiet. Yeah.
Perfectly said. Yes. Sometimes we shut off the voices in our heads, not because we're crazy, but the inner voice. Yeah. And sometimes we just need to be quiet and listen. What is your inner self telling you right now? Yeah. Love it. Yeah. So where can people find you? Instagram, I know, and your podcast. So what's your Instagram?
Cool. So my Instagram is The Queen of Confidence. And I'm there all the time. The Queen of Confidence. Please tag us if you're listening to this episode so we can share it.
Yes, Yay! Please tag us. Take a screenshot of your phone if you're listening and tag us both.
And then the website is thequeenofconfidence.com. I'm on Facebook, not much, but Facebook, The Queen of Confidence. And the podcast is called The Confidence Chronicles podcast, which is on everywhere. You can have listened to that. And Carolina is going to be on my podcast too.
Yeah, can't wait.
We'll link it.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, my darling, so much, Erika, for the time today, for the golden nuggets, for sharing your story. And I hope everybody, women in particular, who were listening to us or watching, hope you got value. And if you did, let us know. Tag us on Instagram. I'm there all the time too. Now it's my favorite social network now. I'm not on TikTok. By the way, I heard TikTok might get banned in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know about TikTok. I'm not. What I've been reading about it, it's not. I don't really. I know it's funny videos, but I'm also reading the other stuff, and I'm like, I think it's really like not a good thing. I don't think it's good. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I don't, everybody's like, oh, but you're missing out, and especially Gary Vee's like TikTok. But I'm like, listen, I'll do what's working for me now and where I feel good.
Exactly. So. He also said Snapchat, and I'm like, I don't have any damn business being on Snapchat. What am I going to do on Snapchat? No way.
Well, I'm not 20. I used to be on Snapchat because of Gary Vee back in 2015, 2016, when it was huge. And then Instagram turned things around with the stories. Best. And then I left Snapchat.
Instagram, and I think for everybody listening too, you have to know where your people are. That too. I'm not trying to sell to 14-year-old girls. I'm not. So they don't have any money anyway, So I'm like, I don't want to sell to them. I'm not on TikTok. Yeah. So hit us up. Let us know. Thank you for having me. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you.